Thomas Dunn with Frontstretch.com here at Kyle Larson, 2025 Cup Series champion, back in his hometown of Elk Grove. And Kyle, you know, I feel like part of the deal of everything that goes on nowadays, you don't really get time to slow down. And what does it feel like to come back to Northern California, celebrate with your home track and snowmobile raceway in your hometown of Elk Grove?
Yeah, it's great. I was trying to think of even the last time I was here in Elk Grove, and it was probably the last parade. So, yeah, I don't get home much. When I come to Northern California, we usually go to Grass Valley, where my wife's parents are they live. So I don't get down here much. So it's cool to be back and see how it's changed, and feel all the support from all the family and friends and everybody too. So yeah, it's cool that Sonoma Raceway helped put this all together, and the city of Elk Grove got together and made this possible.
So it's a little bit different now, because obviously you and Caitlin grew up out here, and then your kids are growing up more along the East Coast now. How have you kind of driven home the importance of kind of where you guys grew up and come from, and have they kind of understood that impact yet?
I don't know. I mean, home for them is, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Right.
So yeah, it is a bit odd, like when I hear Owen or Audrey's name get announced, on the starting lineup of whatever race that they're running, and it's Mooresville, North Carolina, because I'm always associated with Elk Grove, California, and will always be too. I think this is, this will always be home to me. So yeah, it's important that everybody knows I'm a California kid and whatnot. But yeah, for them, they haven't spent much time here, so yeah, this is not home, but it doesn't matter. I think North Carolina is a very equal place to kind of where I grew up, with all the racing and close to mountains and ocean and all sorts of things. So which is very similar there. So yeah, they get to grow up in a similar environment.
Speaking of the Northern California racing scene, you're one of many people who have made their name from here. Yourself, Jeff Gordon, AJ Allmendinger, Xfinity champ Jesse Love. How do you take stock of the Northern California racing scene today? And is there anything that you could compare, contrast to when you were doing in your upbringing?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because all of us kind of grew up different backgrounds. I think it shows the diversity of California really as a whole. Not only in racing, but everything is pretty diverse here. And then, yeah, I mean, California's so long too. There's a lot more, California talent as you go down, to Central California or Southern California. But yeah, I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the good Mexican food and
that's a good one.
But
it's a good shout.
Yeah, no, I'm proud to be from here, and I'm proud to have grown up racing dirt sprint cars and stuff around this area. I think it really teaches you a lot about how to hustle a vehicle. So yeah, I'm very fortunate for my upbringing and everybody who was a part of it.
Yeah, because now there are tracks, obviously Placerville, Silver Dollar. Are there any, misconceptions about Northern California racing and maybe the jump that people do need to take to go to North Carolina and succeed? Or are there any misconceptions that people may or may not have?
I wouldn't say there's any misconceptions. I think what's cool about racing and what's cool about NASCAR is there's really no set path to get there. You look at the whole lineup, and everybody's kind of got a little bit different background. Like I said, even from somebody from the same state. I didn't grow up doing anything like AJ Allmendinger did, as you mentioned, but we're both racing with each other on Sundays. Jimmy Johnson did off-road trucks, and Kevin Harvick did late models and all that. So yeah, I would say there's no set path, so that's what's awesome about NASCAR.
Moving towards your 2025 season, you've been very measured through your celebration, through the award show, about celebrating yourself, giving credit to Denny, among other people. Since then, how have you kind of matriculated into that celebratory process of saying, yeah, I'm a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would feel like the last week has been crazy with, media and just everything that goes along with winning a championship. So it's been nice to kind of soak that in through all of those experiences. But then now as it's kind of slowed down, and I would say today would probably be the last sort of thing of celebrating the championship. Your mind kind of already switches to next year, and you don't forget about winning the championship, but at least for me, you just kind of move on from it, and you'll get excited about what's upcoming for races for me, and then you get excited about next year and trying to repeat. So yeah, it is kind of wild when you think about how fast-paced our lives are, and how fast-paced the sport is, even through the off season, and what we all go through with feelings and excitement.
So this is a little bit different compared to your first championship because 2021 you're going into the next gen car, so you might actually have a lot more off-season work to do. What's the difference going to be going into this off-season in terms of time you actually do get to enjoy it, and when do you actually turn the page for 26?
Yeah, I would say I've already pretty much turned the page for 2026, but yeah, I don't remember much of the off-season in 2021. I think I probably raced a lot. So I think I will race a little bit less this off season, but and two, I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, we went from whatever gen car that was to the next gen car, and there was just a bit of unknown from what I remember. I missed the test that they had at Charlotte because we were in Abu Dhabi, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, off seasons are off seasons. I mean, you're just trying to do what you can to be prepared, and for me that's the race, so I wouldn't say it's probably a whole lot different than back then.
What are part of the off-season plans for you?
Well, hopefully if the weather breaks, we'll get to race midgets this weekend at Placerville, and then I'll be back in a couple weeks for Turkey Night in Ventura, and then I go to Australia for a weekend over like New Year's. And then the shootout, I don't know if I'll get to run the Tulsa shootout, but I'll be there whenever I can get there from Australia to support my kids. And then Chili Bowl, and then maybe Volusia with the Outlaws, not sure yet. But yeah, I mean, look at the calendar, the off-season kind of rolls by pretty quick with all the racing I do. So yeah, not much of a break for me.
That's what you've been doing for year over year. You mentioned it earlier in terms of the grind that this sport is, and people have had kind of different arguments in terms of compressing the schedule with midweek races or just shortening it all together. I guess it's a good hypothetical to know if Ben Kennedy came to you, as you are one of the main voices of the sport, and said, what do you think we should do with this schedule? What would you tell him?
I don't know. I mean, I think honestly they've done a great job with the schedule. I think that's something NASCAR has done a really, really good job of over the last, 5 to 7 years. I think they've added a lot of excitement with new venues and all that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it is a long season, but I race a lot outside of NASCAR, so it's always gonna be long. But I don't know. I feel like I don't want less races, but I feel like if we could sprinkle in some midweek races to get some weekends back, or have the season be just a little bit shorter, I think that would work out well. With the NFL schedule and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, 3 or 4 midweek races throughout the year. I think we race a lot in the Southeast, so we could do that, and I feel like fans would travel around and they have a lot of fun with it. But it would take some adjusting too, I think, but I get to compete in a lot of speed weeks and sprint car stuff, and the fan following of that is amazing, and the crowds are always really good. Obviously much smaller than what a NASCAR crowd is, or probably what it takes to be profitable in a NASCAR race, but I think once they get the hang of it, they look forward to it. So yeah, we'll see, but that's I think would be a fun, kind of exciting change.
2 more quick ones for you. NASCAR's a little bit different because baseball you can go to the bullpen, you go to the batting cage. Basketball you go to the gym. Football you go to the field. You guys are not a lot of practice time, not a lot of test time. What is the process of actually getting better while being at the top of your game?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting in NASCAR, but I don't know, everybody's probably got their own sort of way of doing it. For me, that's why I race in the off season, because I love it. I love to race, but I also kind of use it as a tool to stay sharp, and that way you've got less cobwebs when you get to the Clash. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really not raced in the off season too, so I don't know how that would affect me, if it'd make a difference at all. But yeah, that's just kind of what I do and have gotten used to. But then yeah, I mean, you keep your fitness up. It's easy to get lazy in the off season, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what everybody else does, but I like to stay pretty active.
And last question, you mentioned towards your party after the award show, you got your in and out, and as a California guy, this is very critical. What is Kyle Larson's in and out order?
Yeah, my in and out order these days, it used to be 2 single cheeseburgers with no tomato, no onion, extra lettuce. But now I'm just 2, definitely 1, but maybe even 2 protein style double doubles, 2 by 1. So that's 2 meat, 2 meat, 1 cheese, no tomato, grilled onion, and a fry, and I shouldn't drink a Coke, but I do get a Coke or a root beer.
That'll play. That's 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson. Thank you.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.